Hi, Taylor Hull here again for Castaway Cars presented by Comp Cams. So the next car I'm going to go over is actually my second car I got after I crashed my first Mustang. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link in the description below. Take a watch on that one. It's a pretty interesting and funny story, at least now. It wasn't at the time, but you'll understand when you watch it. So my next car, what do you do when you crash a Mustang? You buy another Mustang, right? Because that's what Mustang people do. So naturally, that's what I did. My parents found me, because I was in school and didn't really have time to look. They found me another 2000 Mustang GT. This one was laser red with tan interior, and this was in 2006. So it was a few years old, but the car only had 8,600 miles on it when I got it. It was literally just like it came off the showroom floor, but it had the worst wheels on it that Ford ever made and put on a Mustang, I think. And they were, for whatever reason, it had the V6 base trim, worst 5-star wheels ever. So immediately I spent like $1,100 or something buying a set of chrome Cobra R's to go on this thing. And it also had the really ugly 99 2000 GT hood that didn't have the hood scoop that went above the hood. It had like the recessed hood scoop with the fake honeycomb. Really terrible. Go back and look at it. So that was kind of my other like must have. I gotta put a hood on this thing to make it like even remotely cool. So put a Cobra R hood on it from the 2000 Cobra R hood, got it painted, and we did the chin spoiler, and I did a grill delete to get the, again, they really were into honeycomb at this time with Ford, so got rid of the honeycomb grill and did the grill delete on that thing, and it really was looking pretty good. And I think the last thing I did to it was put some eye-block lowering springs on it and got the stance pretty decent for the time in 2006, and just, you know, some basic 40 series Flowmasters, because again, what do you do as a Mustang guy? You put Flowmasters on it. It's got to. Absolutely must have. So, you know, it sounded plenty obnoxious. I think later on I put a off-road X pipe on it just for the extra yeet factor. Back then it was obnoxious and terrible, and everyone could hear me coming from a mile away, but it was not a tuned exhaust sound. But, you know, being 17 years old, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I drove the car for a while, but for whatever reason, I think my other car had a 373 gear in it, and this only had the factory 323. So this car never felt as fast as what the other car did. It didn't do burnouts as well, and it didn't do rolling donuts or anything like that nearly as effortlessly as my other car did. So I tried to do different things to make it more comfortable. I put a Steeda short throw shifter in it, and, you know, tinted the windows, just tried to do all kinds of things to compensate for that. But I couldn't afford to put a gear in it because it was kind of expensive, and I couldn't do it myself. I wasn't nearly as mechanically inclined as I am now, so that really wasn't on the table. And I just kept driving it. Eventually I kind of got tired of it because it wasn't as fast, and we were doing some street racing at the time, and I wasn't winning very much anymore. Not that, you know, you should really win with a factory 4.6 5-speed Mustang GT, but I wasn't winning as much as I thought I should win. And my buddies all had cars that were faster than me. You know, my buddy Corey had a 2000, I think it was a 2000 Camaro Z28 with the LS in it, and he'd just absolutely spank all of us with the factory Mustangs. So that was before we really knew what the LS would come to be and how fast those things really were, especially when you stacked them up against a factory 4.6 Mustang. They couldn't hang. You had to supercharge a Mustang to be able to make it keep up with a factory Camaro. But anyway, I drove it for a while and finally got tired of it. And my buddy Zach made me a pretty good offer on it because I was starting to look at some other cars that I wanted to have that were faster than what mine was. So I think I had 12 or 13,000 miles on it by then, and he bought it from me. I made just a touch of money, I think at the time, $200 or $300, which, you know, was a huge victory to me. And he bought the car from me, and he drove it for a little while. I forgot, I pulled the hood off of it. That was one of the conditions that I'd sell it to him. I wanted to keep my hood, so I put the ugly hood back on it for him to buy it so I could keep it for my next car, which I'll go over in another video later on. But I kept the hood, put the ugly one back on it. He bought it, bought another factory Cobra R hood, and painted it again. So we probably should have been a lot smarter and worked out something to where he would have just bought me a hood to replace it so that he wouldn't have to pay to paint his. But that's not what we did. We were 17 and stupid. So he bought another one, drove it for, God, he probably had it for 2 years, and was driving down the mall, or the road right next to the mall there in Douglasville that was in between Highway 5 and another road down there. But car pulled out in front of him. He had his grandmother in the car, of all things, so he wasn't doing anything stupid, but car pulled out in front of him, and he absolutely KO'd this car. You know, killed the hood. Of all things, why are you going to kill the hood? But he absolutely killed it. Airbags deployed. Car was totally trashed. And that was sort of the end of that car. So both of my first 2 cars went to the scrapyard, probably crushed and long gone by now. But that one met its demise shortly after my first one did, and he ended up, I think, buying an Avalanche after that. He kind of got out of the cool car scene for a little while. He's just recently bought his first car back, so maybe I'll get him on here to tell a story sometime or another. But so just to refresh, car 1 KO'd, car 2 KO'd, car 3 didn't meet the same fate, but I don't have it anymore. I'll go into that one on a future video. Thanks for watching. Take the time to like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying these, and we'll be back on to tell some more later. Thank you.